before we begin Kingdom Hearts 2 today, I wasn't planning on reacting to anything today, but something happened in the community that I want to give my 2 cents on. So we're gonna take a look at this really quick. Let me just get my browser working. No, I think it is this one, right? Yeah, okay. So, before we get into this, for context, I'm someone that uses a lot of emulators, and I like emulators, but I also like real hardware too. It's a matter of like, you know, what do I want to play the game on? Like, I think that, obviously game preservation matters, and both emulators and authentic hardware to play older games is very valuable, which really pisses me off because the Ryujinx emulator, which is the emulator that I used a lot for Switch emulation, got shut down today. So from the Wario post, we're gonna read this really quick, but looks like Ryujinx Switch emulator is dead. So this is, I believe, from the official server, the Ryujinx server. So we're gonna read this really quick. Yesterday, GK-chan was contacted by Nintendo and offered an agreement to stop working on the project, remove the organization, and all related assets he's in control of. While awaiting confirmation when I take his agreement, the organization has been removed, and it's safe to say what the outcome is. Ren Levy will only panic speculation instead of I keep the stream, I give some closure. These words are my own. I don't want to speak anyone else here, so just remember that while reading. Thank you to everyone who's contributed code, documentation, issues, reports of the project. Thank you all for allowing us through the development. I was able to learn a lot of really neat things that games I love, enjoy things with new qualities and the circumstances, so all really special, blah, blah, blah. So, I guess Nintendo just, emailed the person who made Ryujinx, and they made some sort of deal, and I guess they just wanted to take it down. And there's a specific, there's a very specific
Hello, Mario.
Comment. Hi, Mafia, welcome in. There's a very specific comment that I want to touch on that I despise reading, that I feel like a lot of people now are agreeing to. This... hold on, let me fucking... full screen this. This is a very good thing. Huh? We're not talking about game conservation, but about privacy, especially for leaked games. For the moment, the Switch is an up-to-date console, and people use Switch emulator for bad things. Oh no, playing Tears of the Kingdom at an appropriate frame rate is bad. Oh no. It's just people who dump their cartridges.
A galaxy at war, yada yada. They don't pay me enough for this shit. Stoat VTuber Veni Okojo fucks a Honda Civic or something. Genital Grievito goes through some traumatic thing when trying to get his grievousy back. Someone smother me, please.
So, this is really bad for a number of things. Also, don't harass this guy, but this guy's a fucking idiot.
Hello, Mario.
There's a few things that trouble me in terms of emulation. For one thing, there hasn't been a fully maintainable fork of Yuzu, which is the emulator that went down first. I heard there's an emulator called Suyu that exists, but it hasn't really gone that much support from what I've seen. I am very sure, kind of the whole Godot thing, which I kind of want to make a whole separate video on a live stream segment for the whole Godot thing, because I have a lot to say on that. Since Brody's not going to make a video, might as well make a video of my own. The thing with projects that get shut down is that there is people who think that they can just fork a project and just maintain it. When maintaining any sort of project, both big and small, is a extremely hard thing to do. Especially one that requires a lot of contributors and a lot of organization and stuff. So this is really bad for a number of things. But also, people talking about, oh, this is about privacy and leaked game. Let me give you an example that'll just destroy your entire argument. Super Mario fucking 3D All-Stars. Super Mario 3D All-Star. Why is my VTube Studio not... Yeah, move this shit up here. Move this over here. Yes. Yeah, just... Yeah. Okay. So, Super Mario 3D All-Stars. You can no longer buy that game. That game is no longer available because Nintendo was a shitty company and decided to do a limited edition run of it. You cannot pirate a game that is no longer available for sale. That's just the nature of abandonware. 3D All-Stars is, by definition, abandonware because there is no legal way of buying it anymore. Like, you can get secondhand copies, yes, but there is no way to go to the eShop, go to a GameStop, go to an Amazon, and just buy it. There's no way of doing that anymore. So that completely destroys this idiot's argument. This guy's a fucking idiot. Again, don't harass him. But at the same time, we don't know whether or not we will even get... We don't even know whether or not we'll even get another fork of the emulator. Because I use Ryujinx a ton. Because it's how I play Super Mario 3D All-Stars now. So my original copy got stolen. There is also some games that I own the physical cartridge of that I, play, for higher frame rate and shit. Like Fire Emblem 3 Houses is the perfect example of, like, I want a higher frame rate and I want, like, actual anti-aliasing, please. But I don't think that there is going to be another major, like, Switch emulator that comes out, right? Ryujinx and Yuzu are dead. Yes, there will be forks, but I don't think they'll be maintainable. Because again, like the whole Godot Redo situation, people think that forking a project is so fucking easy, and when they do it, it's not, basically. I despise Nintendo. I always have despised Nintendo. They sometimes make good games, but they do not give a shit about game preservation. Sure, an emulator can be used for bad things, quote unquote, like leaked games. Oh no, the new shitty 2D Zelda game is out, and oh, people are playing it early. I don't give a shit. But the emulator can also be used for game preservation, right? For, again, 3D All-Stars, which is no longer available, was probably also made to play fucking Mario 99 on Switch as well, because that got shut down. There's probably some private server out there for that. Emulators are not solely for piracy. They are there for preservation, and they are there to make games run better. Like, I am someone, if I ever play Super Mario 64 and beat that for the first time, yeah, I've never beaten Mario 64, I will at some point. If I ever decide to play that on stream, I'm going to play the Render 96 version, right? Because that version you can add better graphics to it, it can be in widescreen, it can be in 60 FPS, it can be in 144 FPS if you really wanted to. I am someone that, yes, I do have my authenticity with game consoles. I literally stream stuff from my PS2, which will return at some point. My pound cable should be coming in hopefully soon. Emulators make games run better and look better and just are better, basically. Like, I would rather not spend $200 on or $250 even, on a copy of Silent Hill 2 for PS2, when I can just emulate it on an emulator. And I think people neglect to, or even intentionally ignore the fact that not only do game preservationists exist, but also consider this. And this is very similar to a lot of, like, FOSS software, right? People don't people cannot afford to buy very many things. Like $20 may be a lot of money for someone. People who live in second and third world countries, developing nations, or just people who just don't really have a job or have a bad job. They can't afford to buy $70+ a game release for any new games. They can't afford to even pay 60, 50, 40 for a new release. That's why I'm very picky about my game purchase nowadays, because I want to conserve all the money I can. Emulators give you an opportunity to play those games and see if you really want to put the money into it. The whole try before you buy thing, which is why people defend piracy all the time, because a lot of people, when they try a game, they want to be like, okay, I'll download it, I'll try it. Oh, is this really good? All right, I'll pay for the full thing. Because, you know, online and mod support and shit. But people fail to realize the importance of emulators besides just herder, I'm not paying money. Game preservation and poor people who actually cannot pay money for a game, right? And a lot of times when someone pirates a game, usually if they really like it, okay, I'll buy the full thing. And if they don't like it, okay, I didn't spend money on it, basically. And then also the game preservation as well. 3D All Stars is the biggest example. I'm sure there were other games like there was one. I'm not sure if it was a Vanillaware game. It was some game. I think it was some people who made El Shaddai. I think so. The Lost Child. I can't remember it. It's on my Switch right now though. Where that game got delisted. You can't get that game anymore. I bought it for like $2 because it was like on sale like the last day. Happened with Steam game once. Yeah, some Steam games can't let you buy it anymore. Like Mortal Kombat 9 is the biggest example of like you can't buy that shit anymore. But abandonware exists for modern games, right? Even like Azura's Wrath, that final DLC for the final episode, which yeah, we'll play Azura that sometime. Don't worry. You can't get that legally anymore. You have to just get a PS3 emulator or an Xbox 360 emulator and emulate the DLC. That's all you can do. And that's really important to preserve a lot of these games. And of course, there's the quote from Gabe Newell that says, let me pull up the Gabe Newell quote really quick. Let me pull this up. The easiest way to stop piracy is not by putting anti-piracy technology to work. It's by giving those people a service that's better than what they're receiving from the pirates. And this rings extremely true, right? It's almost as overused of a quote as the Miyamoto Rushed Game quote, but both those quotes are still extremely true, despite people obnoxiously using them all the time. Because when you have a game that is delisted, or you have an old game that hasn't even been re-released, you kind of, thank you, Sarah, you kind of have to, pirate it if you want to play it. Like, you should have the option to play any game that has been released that you want by any means necessary. The first option is obviously buying it, but if it's not buyable, then yeah, you should download it or pirate it or whatever if it's abandonware. A lot of Nintendo's retro games, like NSO, is not great. It has a lot of games on there that you can play, but one, it's tied to online only, so you can't play those games offline. Two, some games on there aren't even like, some games that are from Nintendo's catalog aren't even part of the thing anymore. Of course, the big example is like, Pokemon, the mainline games. But there's probably other games out there too that Nintendo has not released for their NSO. And the only way you can play those games is either grabbing an official cartridge and the console. I do have an N64, but I don't really plan on playing much of it, or emulating it. And this is really hurting a lot of like Nintendo's reputation is already in the trash anyway, as far as I know. Yeah, the Switch is great, but like ever since I got my Steam Deck, I've just been using that ever since. I love my Steam Deck. And I can put as many emulators in games and even non-Steam games like, heroic stuff, GOG, Epic, Amazon Games if I really wanted to. I can put as much fucking games in there as I want to, given the space that I have. And a lot of people fail to realize the importance of game preservation emulation, just having the Steam Deck or even like a PS Vita that you can just load stuff on there. And it's just fucking sad that Nintendo is still actively trying to harm game preservation and stuff. So, that's all I gotta really say on that.